Good evening. Welcome to the Howell Township regular council meeting.
Begin with the roll call. Councilwoman Fisher?
Here.
Councilman Gager?
Here.
Councilman Nadell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Here.
Mayor Berger is absent.
Thank you. Any reason to go into executive session, Mr. Clark?
Yes, there is. We have potential acquisition of property, and we also have affordable housing and attorney-client matters to discuss.
Thank you. Would you like to read the statement?
NJSA 10:4-12 authorizes the governing body to enter into executive session, excluding the public from this portion for purposes of discussing the following items: potential acquisition, attorney-client privilege, acquisition of property.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to go into executive.
Second, please. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand in executive session. I'd like to reconvene our council meeting. Executive session is now over. May we have a new roll call?
Councilwoman Fisher?
Here.
Councilman Gager?
Here.
Councilman Nadell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Here.
Mayor Berger is absent this evening.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, so tonight, we are very happy that we will be bringing in our new chief of the Bureau of Fire Prevention, Mr. Brian Procknauer. We'd also like to extend our gratitude to Chief Lewis, who's left us after many years of excellent service and was quite a cornerstone in the Township of Howell. Chief Procknauer, please come forward. Council.
So I just wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to serve. It's a great honor. Again, thank you to Chief Lewis for his years of guidance and his service to the township. You've set the bar, and there's no I in team. And I'm fortunate enough to have a professional group of dedicated individuals assigned to my office that work in our office for the Township of Howell, for our residents, for our taxpayers, for our business owners and our visitors. We're here specifically for you. And when I say that, it's specifically for community risk reduction. Fire and life safety education programs go a long way. And because of their tireless efforts, they make my job easy. They make us look good. And because of their tireless efforts and our efforts through, again, our fire and life safety education programs, we're hopeful that everyone in the town has a little bit better knowledge of what to do, God forbid they do experience a fire or related emergency, as well as what they would do to protect themselves to prevent one from happening in their own homes. So again, I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve, and again, with the guidance of our township officials, our town council, and your support of our administration, we're going to be here for a while to make things even better. More positive steps in the right direction to keep everything safe and a nice place to live. So, thank you.
After all this time, you'll find it. I know you have a couple of things you could say.
Well, I'm retired now, so thank you. No, really, I want to thank the township, all the officials that I've worked under with over the past few years, and especially the team, as Chief Prochnow pointed out, the team that we have in the Fire Bureau, because they do make it a lot easier to do your job as the chief when you have good people that are doing what they need to do. So, but thank you. Appreciate the chance to come back and say hello and congratulate Brian on his promotion, and wish him a lot of luck in all the years, a lot of luck to the entire staff for the rest of their years that they are here. So good luck and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, Council thanks exiting Chief Lewis for the many years of service, and we welcome Chief Prochnow to the elevated position that we know that he's going to fill very nicely and with a staff that's most competent. So thank you and congratulations. All right, next we have the acceptance of the minutes, June 13th, regular and executive. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes. Thank you. All right, I'd like to have a motion to open to the citizens for our hearing of public citizens. Diane, would you please read the statement?
Each person shall first give their name and address to the clerk. The council should be addressed as a collective body and not as individual members. Each person shall have one turn to address the council, and comments shall not exceed a total of 5 minutes. Speakers shall be notified when their time has run, and no time extension shall be permitted.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that'd like to come up and speak? Any questions? Please come forward.
Am I? Go ahead, sweetheart. No, you go. No, you're way followed up. You go first.
We just ask that you give your name and address.
Vincent Lazara, 10 Southgate.
All right.
Good evening. I'm Vinny Lazara. I'm the chief of Fire District 5. Just want to address the council on a concern that I have.
Okay.
Speaking to other members, emergency services, I understand that the town's looking to eliminate the position of the OEM manager and give it to PD as a part-time position. Is there...
You want to just finish your questions, and administration will address you, when everybody's done.
Like I said, just want to know if that's true and what's the reasoning behind it.
Okay. All right. When all the comments are in, then administration goes back and answers. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. My name is Donna Howell. Did you need my address? Just my name?
Yes.
I live at 24,000 Oaks Terrace, Howell, New Jersey, 07731. I have a question.
Sure.
And in full disclosure, Mr. Howard has been assisting me a little on this matter. And it may be a zoning thing and not a council thing, but I need some direction. I'm the direct neighbor behind the Howell Commons Plaza. Every morning, the garbage truck, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:15, 5:12, whatever. Mr. Howard was assisting me with that, along with the replacement of my trees that the storm took away out of the plaza. I've been getting some great help. When I asked for assistance with the garbage truck issue, he said I would have to get some sort of a timed photo that it's 4 o'clock in the morning, that sort of thing. So short of going in my jammers out into the plaza, I reached out for the plaza manager, and I said, may I literally come in my jammers at 4 in the morning and sit in the loading bay and wait for the trucks to pull in?
Okay.
So he said, Donna, this is what we're going to do. This is my cell number. As those trucks pull in and shake those dumpsters over their head in your backyard, I want you to wake me up. Well, Saturday the 3rd at 4:54 in the morning, Friday the 9th at 5:32 in the morning, Monday the 12th at 5:16 in the morning, Tuesday the 13th at 6:17 in the morning. So we chat every morning before the sun comes up, myself and Bob, the manager of the plaza over there. So on the 2nd of June, he reached out directly for the different garbage folks who told him it's taken care of. On the 12th, he reached out for them again, and they said, if anybody's back there, it's not us. On the 19th, he went in his jammers at 4:30 in the morning and slept in the plaza in the back thing. And lo and behold, 3 different trash companies showed up at 4:15, 4:30, 5:20, and the people that claimed that they weren't doing that. So he said at this point, now we have to find them. It's against ordinance for them to be there. He suggested that literally every time now they wake me up, I call the PD. 2 things, my concern with that. I think that's a waste of public service to make them run over there every morning, 3 and 4 and 5 times every morning. And aside from that, by the time I would phone, they won't get somebody over there. So I just need to know what to do next and whom to do that with, and can I issue the violation myself? Can I, what,
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
I think I understand all your concerns. If you'd be kind enough just to let us finish all of the people, I will ask administration to address you specifically.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak? Hello.
Hi. My name is John Mossbacher. I'm at 292 Stewart Street. So I got a certified letter in the mail the other day. It's about public hearing on amendment to zoning ordinance. So what I understand is they're doing low-income housing out behind me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just
So-
speak up just a little. It could be just me.
No, everybody tells me I got a low voice. So I've been renovating this house for a while, and I'm not finished yet. But I got this letter. I want to kind of find out what is the intention out there. They talk about runoff and pumping stations and water towers. I have a well and I have concerns about my well water. And I would also like to know what the intentions are, what the plans are, how close they want to come. You know, they say they're going to be within 200 feet of my property. I would like to see the plans for what they're doing there. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm just here to voice my concern.
I think I understand everything that you're trying to address this evening, and if you'll just let us finish public comment, again, I will ask Mr. Howard to address your
right.
concerns.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that'd like to come up and comment? Hello.
My name is Wendy Walton. I'm at 522 West Farms Road. I had as well just received an ordinance, and I would like to know where the pumping station's going, where everything's being, I just received this ordinance at 5 o'clock tonight. So
Okay.
I have a concern of my well water, my septic, everything.
Certainly.
Sky pollution, noise pollution, the traffic, so.
Okay, and again, not to be redundant, but
No, I know,
I think
but-
I understand all your concerns, and again, I'll ask Mr. Howard or whoever's appropriate to address you as soon as we're all done with this, the
All right.
statements.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that'd like to ask a question or speak to anything this evening?
After, do we talk now about the ordinance, or?
There's another time for ordinances.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you. Anyone else would like to speak to the consent agenda or questions? I'm sorry, that's it? All right. Can I get a motion to close public?
Motion to close public.
Second, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask administration to address the different residents and their concerns.
Okay, so I'll take the first one first, and then the last three are all directed at the TURPAC ordinance, so
Okay.
we'll work on that. OEM position, obviously, it's a personnel matter. We don't discuss them. Currently, there's no change that's been made to the position, and the person who's appointed to that is appointed there by law until the end of this year. So that's where we are with it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that answer. Mr. Howard?
In terms of the garbage trucks, Benderson, it's nice to put a face to the name now. Nice to meet you, finally. It's a difficult issue. Things off hours with code enforcement are very difficult. I'd have to authorize overtime probably for a full week to make sure we can observe the item. We're probably starting at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, like the resident had said, and I'd have to authorize that code enforcement officer out and take them out of the hours that they normally work and all their other duties. So we can do that, but I try and be an expedient with overtime. We have done violations in the past for garbage truck violations, and they tend to work, but we have gotten time-stamped photos. So you had said that the property manager was out there and saw the 3 trucks. I kind of wish they were able to take some pictures.
I asked him if he would do that, because I asked if I could do that, and he said I would rather sit back there, and he did. Whether or not, I don't believe he took the photo. I don't know, I talked to him at 5:22 this
Sure.
morning, I was a little tired. I'm not really sure that he did that.
So if it's
He has
time-stamped,
names of drivers, and he has the names of the drivers, and each one of the, it was 3 different companies. He has the names of each one of the companies, and he said he's made a formal, request to them that they stop a second time.
right, so our request, and what we would do once we have evidence, is we would send a violation. Sometimes that's going to the corporate office of Waste Management or whomever. So it does sometimes takes some time to get through. We've had success with that, and we've also issued summonses. My reaching out, my office reaching out, we can't do so unofficially, informally. If we're going to reach out, it has to be through an official letter of notice of violation, which is your warning. Even then, it's, by ordinance, 2 weeks, correct this issue, make sure it stops. And then on the second offense, after those 2 weeks, once we see it again, that's when we can issue a summons. But that issuing of the NOV says that we've observed something, and that I'm willing to take you to court, because I can't issue a violation if I don't have that evidence, if I'm not ready to back it up and bring them to court.
And even if the owner of the property is in agreement? If Benderson is now
So
saying to me,
what I would recommend on that note is a resident and a citizen can sign a complaint to municipal court themselves. So going down to the municipal court, there's staff that can probably help you in actually signing your own complaint, and then you're filing that on your behalf, and you can testify to your own experiences and what you've seen. Whereas code enforcement, if I do that, it's hearsay based on something that somebody else has seen.
Okay, so my question here today was, what do I do to have the town be behind me to enforce the ordinance that affects me directly? How do I get my town to enforce that ordinance versus myself going to the county and filing my own thing? It is a township ordinance. I understand if the property owner said to me, please don't be in my loading bay at 4:30 in the morning, I don't have a clear line of sight. So then I literally have to call the PD at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:15, 6 o'clock, and hope someone flies there before they bang that dumpster a few times and drive off?
And to the same point, I would have to authorize overtime. So if I would have to talk to the manager and see if that's an expenditure in the budget, and then especially doing so, I have to be ready to do that on all the night work and all the different things that we do get, and that they're asking code enforcement to come out after hours on.
Matt, I think we should do whatever we have to issue some summonses to those people.
Yeah,
The word will get out quickly.
So if the, what was his name, Benderson, the gentleman who runs it, just have him reach out to my office and I'll talk to him and we'll get a feel for what he saw. You know, Mr. Howard's right in terms of what we can do with code enforcement, but if he can give me an idea of how frequently this happens or what he saw, then we will authorize the overtime and we will get people planted there, probably in their jammers as well, and then.
It was short of literally, like I said, I have no line of sight to take a picture.
I get it. It's hard. So yeah. So once we get a feel for how frequently, or if there's a particular day or anything like that, then we will authorize the overtime. We'll get somebody parked there, and we'll see what we can do to catch them.
Okay, so you
Okay.
would like the Benderson and site manager of the Howell Commons,
Yeah.
Robert Wiskowski, to reach out to your office with the things he texts me every morning at 5?
Yeah. Correct. Absolutely. Perfect.
Okay, because I'm really tired now.
And just,
I bet you are. So
And
we'll
then-
work
and
to
then
help.
Which one of you folks can I phone when I get off the phone with Bob at 4:17 every morning? I think we all should get up.
You can call me.
so just keep in mind, first observance is a violation, 2-week cure. It's not necessarily quick, and if we come back 2 weeks, we'll issue the summons. Court dates go out a couple months. So I just want to be fully clear on the timeline, and
I wish I knew
it's
that on June 1st.
and it's not going to be
Because
something.
it would have been resolved by now.
It-
It's been since June 1st. I wish I would have known that there was.
So I could tell you if we were out there on June 1st with an NOV, we'd have a court date in mid to end of July.
Well, the
Just-
important thing is that you now have the direction, the manager has said, you know, what can be done. Mr. Benderson should call his office.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can come to something expedient to rectify the problem, you know, with all the necessary proofs.
Matt, what is the time that they can actually be
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
7 a.m.?
Yes, is your ordinance.
After 7 a.m.
Yes, so have them get the information to me. We'll reach out to the sanitation companies through my office as well, and in the meantime, we'll get somebody stationed there. So maybe between us calling on behalf of the township and getting a code enforcement officer out there watching for a violation, we may have action on their part earlier than a month.
Earlier than a month.
Yeah, like ASAP.
That's just a long time to only
I
spend 4
know,
hours a day.
I know.
I can assure you
I
that
can
that they will
imagine,
be
so.
trying to rectify this as quickly as
Yeah,
possible.
we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Switching gears to the ordinance, and we could discuss it more when that comes up. The notice that went out and that you've received is because you're within 200 feet of the zone change. So there are a number of parcels, a couple dozen, that, it's not a zone change, it's a zoning amendment, that are included. Because you're within 200 feet, doesn't necessarily mean you're within 200 feet of the development. It means you're within 200 feet of the property, of a property that is being zoned. You could be within 200 feet of the development, but there is a little give there. So what the ordinance is doing tonight is updating a few conditions within the existing ordinance. So several years ago, the properties were rezoned for this development, and there's actually been a couple changes since then. You've probably gotten this notice before, sometime last year even, and in 2019. These changes are dealing with some of the infrastructure that they have to install for part of the project. So where they're at is they are finalizing their plans for submittal. We haven't seen detailed site plans,
Yeah.
subdivision plans.
Nice.
We haven't seen the exact building plans. So they are almost at 100% of their engineering, and they're realizing there's a few sections within the ordinance that don't work, and they're requesting that the ordinance be updated so that variances don't have to be granted in front of the board, which is how the affordable housing projects and the rezoning works. So the ordinance, the big change to this ordinance is some of the units are moving from the north side of Casino to the south side of Casino, between Casino and West Farms. Some of the other improvements that were listed, like the stormwater basins, the water towers and pump stations, and the other utilities, those are really just part of the infrastructure that goes with the project. So stormwater basins have always been included. They're putting them, because of the way some lot lines have to be adjusted, they're listing them in a permitted use, so it's not a technical variance they need. Same thing for the water towers and pump stations. I definitely understand your concerns about drainage, your wells, the impacts. All of that will be in front of the planning board when their official application is submitted. We are not reviewing the development or approving the development here. We're approving the zoning that will allow them to come in with a conforming application, but every aspect of all the design waivers or the design features, the residential design standards, all of that will have a detailed review in front of the planning board. If you've got this notice, you will also get notice for when those hearings are, date and time, and you'll have an opportunity to speak at those, and there'll be an exhaustive discussion about everything to do with those plans.
Thank you, Matt. And of course, any plans are on file and open to the public. Only need to come down to Town Hall and take a look.
Yeah, so those plans aren't submitted yet to us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The planning board application hasn't been made. We expect that, if this ordinance passes, relatively quickly, relatively soon. So anybody who has inquiries about when those plans are in, you can contact me. I could leave my card here, and you can, I'll let you know once it comes in and they're officially able to be OPR'd, public record, then you could come in and review them. We could send you electronic copies and you could see everything. And if that didn't answer any of your questions, there will be a separate public session tonight in a few minutes probably that you could ask any follow-up questions. Did I leave anything out?
Thank you.
No. Okay.
Madam Clerk, I do have two different agendas, so to speak, so I'm going to go off of the one, which now, one is saying official reports for administration.
Okay.
And that's not what I have on this one.
All right, very good.
But nonetheless, let's take the report of the officials at this point in time. I think it would be advantageous to do that first. Mr. Clark?
So it's basically nothing more than really what we talked in exec. We've got a few things cooking that'll be showing up on our agenda in the coming months relating to some of our housing rentals, getting a little bit more control over it. So good things are happening. Just assuming that people are wondering why the two ordinances were pulled tonight, I asked to have them taken off the agenda for now while I drill down on a couple of issues, legal issues relating to them. They should be back on the agenda for a formal hearing on July 11th. So.
Thank you. We appreciate all the information coming at the same time, so thank you for that. Mr. Howard?
I don't have anything additional at this time.
Okay. The Attorney's Office, anything at this time?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bear? He's here.
I'll wait for the public hearing.
All right, thank you. Let's turn to the officials of our elected official, reports of the elected officials. Can I start with Mr. Gazier?
I have nothing today, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ian? Mr. Nadell, I'm sorry. I'm reading my paper.
Just to reiterate what Mr. Clark said about the rentals, we are aware of these being issues, pictures going around of stuff that we don't want to see in our town. So we are aware of it, and we are working on getting all this under control.
Yeah, I don't want to jump on your toes on that. We are definitely aware of it. And through May, I do a monthly summary report. We normally received last year 160 complaints. This year, we're over 410 through the same time period. So just to say code enforcement is swamped is not describing it. They're working as hard as they can. They really are. So the choice of allocating overtime, trust me, is a difficult choice to make. These guys are working, guys and girls are working very hard. We get the complaints, they have to be queued up, so sometimes it takes us longer to respond than we want, but we are taking everyone seriously. We're looking into what we can, and again, I mentioned it last meeting, we're looking to hire two positions, so if anybody with law enforcement experience or previous code enforcement experience, please put an application in.
Thank you. No other reports from our administration? I'm sorry. And Councilwoman Fisher, would you like to share with us?
No, Councilman Nadell spoke for I think, for all of us. We share the same concerns. We're residents too, so we know what the issues are. And hopefully we can find some good code enforcement officers to help Mr. Howard.
Yeah, indeed, there's a lot of work being done through code enforcement, along with the things that are coming up on a daily basis. Still, the regular job, if you will, still needs to be done every day. So that department is working feverishly. All right, so let's move on to our consent agenda. I'd like to take a motion for R23247 through and including R23259. Is there a motion?
249 through 259C.
My apologies. And
Motion
you know,
to accept.
that's what I wrote.
Motion to accept R-23-249 through R-23-259C.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. The consent resolutions pass.
Can I give a motion for R23260?
Motion to approve R23260.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes,
Thank you. The resolution passes.
thank you. Moving on to the adoption of ordinances. Next would be ordinance.
Excuse me, we have resolution R23-261.
Yes, we do.
Motion.
May I have a motion?
Yeah, motion to accept R23261.
Second?
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Thank you. The resolution passes.
My apologies. All right, now we'll move on to ordinance 2319. Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance?
Capital ordinance providing for the capital to the Coast Trail Extension Improvements Project and appropriating $550,000, therefore authorized in and by the Township of Howell and the County of Monmouth, New Jersey.
Thank you. Motion to open to the public, please.
Motion to open to the public.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to open this ordinance to the public. Any comments or concern, please come forward. No concerns? A motion to close?
Motion to close?
Second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Thank you.
And as the manager said, the other two ordinances were pulled until all of the information can be brought forth. We appreciate that information forthcoming. Tonight we have no introduction of ordinances.
Excuse me, that was the motion to close. We need a motion to adopt ordinance 23-19.
Yes, we do. My apologies.
That's okay.
May we go back and may I have a motion to adopt that ordinance?
Motion to adopt O2319.
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
My apologies. Okay, and I will again say we have no introduction of ordinances, so we will move past that. And before we go into the next meeting date, are we
Okay,
going
wait, there's one more, ordinance 0-23-22. It's an ordinance amending Article 10 of the Township Code entitled Zones, revising Section 188-84.4 entitled Moderate and Low-Income Housing Zone 14, known as ML-14 Zone.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, or on a different agenda. My apologies.
Okay.
Motion to open public comment.
Second?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone from the audience wishing to address this ordinance, please come forward.
Good evening.
Your name, please, and address?
Lisa Dillon, Turpac Road.
Thank you.
Patrice Cracky, Turpac Road, Howell.
I have a few questions on the ordinance. Number one is, who was responsible for vetting the environmental issues in the north parcels? And why wasn't this known in 2018 when settlement was reached? Question two.
Where are the water towers going? Will they be visible? Will basins, towers, and other structures be placed in any buffers or setbacks next to the existing residences? And, can't hear me?
Yeah, if you could speak into the microphone.
Oh, sure. Additionally, I'm concerned with the notifications that were sent out. Like, neighbors on either side of me didn't get them, and now all of a sudden, people behind me on Stewart are getting them. So I'm assuming this really shifted the building a lot, and I guess Matt will answer the question. He showed us a really nice map last time, specifically of all the building, where the condos were going to be, where the homes were going to be, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if this is going to have to wait till the planning board meeting, but I'm really concerned with that. At this point, the only thing that was going to be near me was like a drainage basin. So I wonder if we're going to have those exact details anytime soon.
Okay, let me, I think that'll be quicker and to expedite the concerns. Mr. Howard, would you just jump in at this point?
I have a few more questions.
Yeah, let's get the rest of the questions, and then I'll jump in.
Since there's no units in the north parcel, are they still building a road to Casino Drive? And this is another question. What are they doing to encourage an equal distribution of traffic to prevent backups on West Farms Road? And my last question, are they planning to build units on 5 lots that were added to the zone in 2022? If so, township officials said they wanted to reopen the agreement and include language that this will not happen. And on another note, I live on Turpac, no notice ever.
Okay, so I'll just take that last item, and I've talked to you about this previously. The development, Turpac Road kind of cuts right up north towards the development, and the development has a lot of parcels to the north, towards Casino, goes east and west, and it actually comes back down to West Farms Road. Your property doesn't fall within 200 feet of a property boundary that is being rezoned. You're not included in the notice. It's a strict requirement. We can't make it go larger, and the developer or nobody's required to notice outside of that list. So that's number one. So to go to, I'm just going to try the environmental issues. That'll be part of the site plan review. So again, none of this approval here tonight is allowing a shovel in the ground. This is setting the ordinance so that the planning board can do the full review later. So that review, along with traffic, you had mentioned equal distribution of traffic. The driveway that is proposed is between West Farms and Casino. It is still needed to Casino because it gives you 2 points of ingress and egress. The fact that the units are moving from the north end, that would have been a separate driveway and parking lots to several buildings on the north parcels. There is no development proposed there. The ordinance is specifying that that'll be dedicated to the township, those parcels. So there will be no roadway north of Casino, but there is a roadway connecting Casino to West Farms. That was done in the previous ordinance changes because that took the connection off Turpac and Stewart Street. So that was a major concession that we worked for. And yes, units are now on those lots near, closer to West Farms. They don't front on West Farms, or they do, I'm sorry, they do front on West Farms. And the idea was that is where the boulevard driveway is coming in for the access from West Farms. Otherwise, without those lots included, it had to come up Turpac Road. So that was part of the negotiations. The water towers, the developer will be presenting plans as to their location. That is subject to the planning board approval as well. Excuse me. All indications to us from now have been that they will not be visible, that because the topography is so high, it's the second highest part of Monmouth County, that they don't have to build a tall water tower. They can build a shorter, squatter one. So they've made representations to us that that will not be visible, will not be an impact to the existing residents, and they'll have to prove that in front of the planning board. Basins and buffers, that's more of a site plan question. This ordinance still requires buffers around the perimeter of the site. So if they are to install infrastructure within those buffers, it would trigger a variance. The whole point of everything that we're doing here is to try and avoid variances. So until we see the site plans, I can't guarantee it, but that will defeat most of what we're trying to do here if there are going to be infrastructure within the buffers. I believe I answered everything. Is there anything I missed?
I don't know if I addressed it properly, but obviously you don't have the plans yet.
Correct.
But it's 458 units
Correct.
that you've now taken out of the north parcel.
It's 58 units out of the north parcel.
Right.
Which have been added to the 400 already in the south parcel. It's
Right.
not.
So it must have expanded the area you were going to build on.
No. So the parcels that are to be developed and have been since day one, with the inclusion of West Farms being, say, day two, those parcels, we have not expanded. There's no new parcel being included. There's no new area being included. That
Perfect.
change, it wasn't 2022. I believe it was 2019 that those parcels got added in. The development change where the road moved to West Farms was 2022. That was last year. There has been no expansion since then in the area. In fact, this one is decreasing it because the north parcels are no longer in play.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or concerns from the public concerning this ordinance? If so, please come forward.
I think
Name and
you might have
address,
answered-
name and
You
address.
might have answered my question.
Name and address?
John Mossbacher, 292 Stewart Street.
Thank you.
So I heard you say that there was a concession about egress to the property being developed, that you're not coming up and down Stewart Street?
Correct.
That's correct. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good news.
So, yeah, that was one of the major
And
ones.
there's no other, because I'm like right there, there's no other roads or anything planned for people to get in and out through Stewart or Overlook,
No,
correct?
that was the main change last year, and we made sure, it meant that some units were going to those lots near West Farms Road, which
Right.
actually wound up being very suitable for development and seemed to work very well. But we made sure that there was no connection to Stewart Street and Turpac Road, and even the developer saw the value in having a road West Farms to Casino instead of on those roads.
Okay, so second thing is, from, my property receives a lot of rainwater from this proposed project. That's what concerns me, and I'm not qualified really to speak about it, but obviously water goes downhill and it's coming onto my property. That's a concern of mine that I think needs to be addressed. I don't know what you do or what you don't do out there, but
So the stormwater rules are generally that any new runoff has to be treated and managed on site. So there should be no increase in runoff. There should be no change to any existing condition. Obviously, that's a very big hill there, so I'm sure that's
not the
potential-
side I'm talking about, though. Not from the hillside. I mean, I do get runoff there, actually, but from the other way, if you look on Google Maps, you can see there's like a big open area. I think Howell owns it. That place right there sort of tapers right down into a little gully and right onto my property.
Okay, so there is no Howell property included in the application?
Well, one of my neighbors told me that was owned by Howell Township. I don't know that for a
And we do.
fact.
It's at the top of Turpac Road, we do own
Yeah.
some parcels, and they're on our recreation open space
Right.
inventory, our
It's a
Rossi.
big cleared area.
Right. None of those areas are are included in this proposal. It's not part of the development. So
there's nothing going on in that field there?
on the Howell Township parcels, I don't know that we're necessarily talking about the same field.
Right.
At the very top of Turpac Road, where it
Right,
ends,
correct.
is Howell Township property.
Right.
So that is not
And
included
I'm
in
going to
this
go with,
development.
that's a 20 or 30 acre field there.
I'm not sure of the exact
In any
size.
case, clearing, not,
So,
somebody
uh,
obviously was out there before.
But the township property is not being developed here.
Right.
It's the other property that's privately owned.
All
And through the process with the planning board, and again, you could reach out to me once those plans are submitted, you get a
Right.
copy of them. They have to submit detailed drainage drawings.
Right.
And they have to address stormwater runoff. So you can take a look at those plans. You can talk to any professionals you want and ask absolutely any questions to the planning board to make sure it's addressed to your
All right.
satisfaction.
And what recourse would I have? I mean, I know it's
Well,
probably not appropriate for me to ask you, but, I mean, do I need to get a lawyer? Or?
For simple questions in terms of design to
Yeah,
minimize
probably
impacts, I can't really give a recommendation.
Right, okay, yeah.
That's-
I
You
got
are
it.
always entitled to get a lawyer if you
Right.
choose to do
Well, I don't
so.
really want to. I just want to know how it's going to affect my property.
Well, they're also going to have to meet the state DEP standards for stormwater runoff, and
Right.
that's always a very highly vetted issue before the planning board. The board engineers are going to be examining the developer's plans to make sure of that and providing comment on, through the board process to ensure compliance with DEP.
And I'd say drainage is probably the majority of the technical review on these sites, especially from the engineering standpoint. And take a look at the plans when they come out. Development may not be as close as you think to
No, I
exactly your
don't-
parcel.
I have no idea.
right.
I've seen tractors out there, but I have no idea what the plans are, and that's the reason I'm here.
Right.
So,
And we don't have a lot of those details yet either. That's what the planning board will be reviewing in detail.
all right, well, I guess that's all I can think of now, but thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Please come up. Good evening. Can I have your name and address, please?
Wendy Walton, 522 West Farms Road. I apologize if you've already said this, but there's just like a lot going on. So you said that the road's not going to be between Turpac and Stewart. So is the new road between West Farms Road and Casino Drive going to be west or east of Stewart? And between Lemon Road and Route 9?
It's exactly in that box you just drew. So Casino intersects with Lemon, which intersects with
Right.
West Farms, which intersects with 9. So it's going to come north off of West Farms Road, go around the end of Turpac Road. It kind of winds away based on topography.
Right.
And then it will go north till it hits Casino.
Now, are they going to be required to put in, there is no sidewalks. We have the Manasquan Park right across the street. So is this going to interfere with that park? And is it going to be required to put sidewalks in now because we're going to have all that traffic? I have kids, my neighbors have kids.
So, again, we don't have the final plans. There will be sidewalks interior to the development. There are minimal off-track improvements required, especially for the roads coming in. They're not proposing sidewalks up and down West Farms Casino that I know of for a great distance. It's really not a regular occurrence in a planning board application like this.
But they will give us an exact plan of where that
Oh.
road's going to go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you'll be noticed for the hearing. I recommend you reach out to me regularly. Again, I'll leave you my cards.
I'll be
Maybe-
at the township all the time.
Maybe once a month, and I'll, once those plans, and you reach out to me, I can tell you how to get your hands on
Yeah.
the plans.
All right, thank you.
The law for notice through the planning board is 10 days prior to the hearing, so that is the requirement. So if you want to be noticed before that, just definitely be in touch.
Thank you. Is there any other concerns or comments on this particular ordinance? Hi.
Hi, good evening. Jessica Brown, 208 Turpac Road. So I just had a quick question. When I moved here, the development site behind Turpac was zoned ARE2, which under my, as far as my understanding, it meant it was preserved for rural and agricultural land use. Has that zoning been reversed
So I'm
already,
not-
or do we have a chance to, object to that at all?
So I'm not sure exactly what parcels you're talking about. ARE2 is a 2-acre minimum lot size, single-family residential zone, correct? The zoning change for this parcel occurred in 2018.
I mean, I could give some background.
Sure.
On that. So I'm Andrew Bayer, the Special Counsel on Affordable Housing. So this site, this parcel properties that we're talking about, were part of the township's affordable housing plan that went before the court in 2018. And the township at that time had about a 900-unit affordable housing obligation townwide. And this was one of the sites that the council approved in 2018 that was part of the settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center. So what the law required, the court required, was that the township rezone all their affordable housing properties. So this was one of them. So if it was, if it was AR2, which I'm sure it was in 2018, it got rezoned to this moderate and low-income housing zone to allow for this project. And the amendment before the council tonight is a technical amendment, basically to clear up some bulk standards and utility issues so the project can proceed. Because if the governing body or the township doesn't allow for the development to proceed in a cost-effective manner, we could get sued again with a shift in attorney's fees and all that kinds of things. So it's the township's legal obligation to try to make these projects work.
Right, so we're not changing the zoning today. That occurred in the past. We are amending and updating some of the technical requirements within the previously changed zoning.
Gotcha, thank you. I just didn't know if it had already been changed.
Yep.
Thank you.
And are there any other concerns concerning on this particular ordinance? Seeing none, a motion to close public, please.
Motion to close.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the ordinance?
I'll move to adopt ordinance 23-22.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes,
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
thank you. All right. Seeing no other business, before we go on to the meeting dates of the future, are there any comments or any other information from council that you'd like to share? Or we covered it all? All right, seeing none. Our next meeting date for the regular session, the Howell Township Council, is July 11th. Between now and then, of course, we'll have the 4th of July. We wish you all a very happy and safe 4th of July.
No one out here can hear you. We can see your mouth moving. No one out here can hear you.
Thank you. Our next meeting date is July 11th, 2023, for our next Howell Township Council meeting. Between now and July 11th, we will be having July 4th, in which case the council wishes everyone a safe and happy 4th of July. Area towns do have fireworks, and there's a lot of things that are happening in communities in Monmouth County. We hope that you all have a very happy holiday with your family, but please remember, fireworks are dangerous. Fireworks in your backyard are illegal, but we do hope that you do have a good time. Please be safe on the roads during the holiday season, and we will see you July 11th. Thank you. May I have a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.